Welcome back to the franchise. Today we are doing tight ends Dynasty. But before we get into that, I just want to say a good thank you to you guys for watching. I don't know who's watching, but I'm just doing these videos for fun. So I appreciate you guys watching my YouTube videos. I got like 40 views on my running back video. I don't even know how that even happened. So appreciate you guys tuning in for real. I hope you keep tuning in. Let me know if you're watching me, if you want to see something certain or a certain topic, or rookie rankings per position, or like a draft order. Let me know what you guys want to hear. But like I said, today is going to be tight ends, and then I'm open to ideas from here on out. Yeah. Again, thank you for watching. Let's jump right into tight ends. First one is plain and simple. It's Brock Bowers. He was that guy. I doubted him. I could have taken him in the 5th round in redraft. I doubted him. He proved me wrong. He proved thousands of people wrong. I mean, listen to these numbers. 112 receptions, 1,194 yards, and only 5 touchdowns. And yet he was still the tight end 1 as a rookie. That is insane. Best receiver, best season by a tight end, rookie tight end ever. Probably will never be topped. You could say Ditka was better, but he didn't have as good of stats, but he only played like 16 games, I think. Or I don't even know how many games he played. Not as many as Brock. But anyway, Brock, crazy. And only had 5 touchdowns, bro. Like, that could be 10 easily. Easily. So he has so much more potential for upside that he is in a tier of his own, in S tier. And yeah, there's no change in that. Brock Bowers, Georgia product, 1 of 1. A tier, though, I'm going to put Sam Laporta, Trey McBride. I would put Laporta ahead of McBride, but opportunity is just way greater in Arizona. Both have great quarterbacks, but Laporta is not the number 1 option. Last year, McBride was the number 1 option. Marvin takes a step forward. McBride's still going to be, I mean, he might not demand 147 targets like he did this year, but he'll still have over 100 receptions like he did this year, no question in my mind. Similar season to Bowers, just a dominant force. Yeah, so 111 receptions, 1,146 yards, and only 2 touchdowns. Like, positive touchdown progression coming from both Bowers and McBride. McBride especially, only 2 touchdowns to finish as high as he did in the tight end rankings is insane. I can't imagine what would happen if he starts getting in that end zone. He might pass Bowers. So, yeah, he's that good. And Laporta's right there. I mean, he had an off year to start. I think he was riddled with injuries. But I have no doubt in my mind that he's the talent that Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell drafted and Brad Holmes drafted, and they're going to use him. And he started to really catch fire at the end of the year, and he's still so young. Like, I'm not really worried about him. I'm pretty sure he's going to have a nice bounce-back season this year, so he's going to be up in A tier. But that's why he's behind McBride. I don't think you can argue anyone else above him just because of his talent and his youth. The tight end class is thin. It always is. Especially for Dynasty. So, yeah, simple as that. Next, could be controversial, but we're going to go B tier. Number 1 in B tier is, Loveland to the Bears. And really the reason he's here is he's so talented, and the landing spot, I know it's crowded. I get it. But Laporta had a crowded room when he was in Detroit as a rookie with Ben Johnson calling the plays, and he was dominant. Hawkinson, crazy first year with Ben Johnson. So Ben Johnson uses tight ends. He just finds a way, especially talented ones who deserve to be on the field, and Loveland is exactly that. A rookie tight end with this caliber, in this caliber offense, you got to put him up here. So that's why he's my 4th ranked tight end for Dynasty. After him, it's tough. I love George Kittle. He is 31 years old, though. He doesn't have, I don't know how much longer he's got. Of course, Kelsey's 34, or maybe even 35. And he's been around for way longer than we thought he was going to be, so maybe Kittle does the same. He had a great year last year, amazing year. I don't see why that doesn't continue, especially with the departure of, Debo. So, yeah, Kittle. And Tyler Warren, which one is it? I really, really think that Tyler Warren might be a better prospect than Colston Loveland, I don't know. It's tough. They're so different, you know, in their builds and in the way they play tight end. They're both super talented. It's hard to say who's a better prospect. Obviously, a lot of people would say Warren is. I don't know. What I do know is that he went to the Colts. And I get the Colts don't have a tight end, but they don't have Ben Johnson drawing up the plays. They don't got Caleb Williams. They got Anthony Inaccurate Richardson. So that's why I have the difference here. You could flip-flop them, I guess, depending on what you think of Anthony Richardson and the Colts, but I just love the situation way more for Colston Loveland, and I feel like it makes way more sense to put him above Tyler Warren because of those factors. Yeah. That leads us to the next one, who is C-tier, and that's Tucker Kraft. He's inconsistent. I have mixed feelings about Tucker Kraft. Here are his numbers from last year. 70 targets, 50 receptions, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. He had some great weeks. He had some not-so-great weeks. They drafted Matthew Golden, Josh Jacobs still there, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed. He's the tight end there. Who knows what happens with Musgrave? Maybe he steps up a little bit. He's young. He's talented. But he's in a crowded room with proof that he is okay. He's an okay tight end, and for a tight end position, he'll definitely fill that spot with the way, you know, the depth that tight end in the NFL is, especially for Dynasty. He will fill that role. So that's why he's number 1 in C tier. But at the end of the day, he's nothing that special. He could move up if we see a great season from him, but with the mouths there and the Green Bay offense, I just don't see him being much better than what he was this year, which is an average to good tight end, which is fine. But I can't put him up in a higher tier because of those reasons I gave. After him, I almost want to put Njoku above him. I think he's going to have a great year. But for Dynasty, he's 28. They just drafted Harold Fannin. But who knows, man? Njoku's a tank. He could have a great season. I think he'll have a great season. Will he have a better season than Kraft? Probably will. But Tucker Kraft just is like 4 years younger, so that's why he's there and not above. Dalton Kincaid, pretty disappointing. You know, last year we thought he was really going to just be the guy, and they were going to funnel all the targets to him, and people kind of jumped the gun on that. He was definitely not as elite as we thought he was going to be. He had some games, he had some moments, but man, overall super disappointing. I still believe in the talent. He's still in one of the best offenses in the NFL. Maybe they get him more involved this year, but you're really betting on talent and not production, which is scary because he had every right to step up and be that guy. And I don't know. Was there a big difference really between Dawson Knox and his season? I don't know the numbers on it, but I don't remember being at that I remember watching those games and seeing Dawson Knox. And, you know, Kincaid had his games, and maybe at the end towards the playoffs he started going off a little bit, but overall, there was nothing screaming, wow, Kincaid is so much better than Dawson Knox and they use him so much more. No, it was pretty split. So you're really hoping in Kincaid that he step into a better role, but at the end of the day, I don't really want to be betting on hopes. You know, I want to see evidence, and we didn't really see it last year from him. Also in C tier is Mark Andrews. I get it. He had a tough, inconsistent year. He kind of was good at the end, though. He was consistent. Other than in the playoffs, he sold the team twice.
The drop as well earlier, and for the game to go possibly to overtime.
Abysmal. But listen, he's still Lamar Jackson's favorite target, most reliable target. And Baltimore loves him. He's 29. I think he'll be 30 in December. He, again, is like Kittle, is like Kelsey. But Kelsey's 5 years older than Andrews, which is a ton older. So I still think he can be a great tight end 1. I think he can be a tight end 1 for at least a year, maybe even 2 more years. I know they do have Likely there, but there's been no signs of him to leave Baltimore. There's been no signs of him leaving Baltimore. So, again, there's been no signs of him leaving Baltimore. So, While he's still in Baltimore and while Lamar Jackson and him are still playing together, I'm going to bet on Mark Andrews every time. So give me him for another year or two, which is why he's still in the C tier and not farther down, like Evan Ingram, Isaiah Likely, and Travis Kelce. So Evan Ingram to the Broncos. Maybe a decent fit. Maybe he could be great, Maybe. He's still very old. In New York, he was horrible. He went to Jacksonville, everybody wrote him off. And he was good. He was actually very good for a year, and then he has weeks where he's really good. Will we see that in Denver? I don't know. A lot of questions there. So he could move up. He's not as old as Kelce. He's still old. He's still like 30, maybe even 31. But he's got Bo Nix thrown to him and an Denver offense that's potent. So I don't hate him. But there's just a lot of question marks there. So, yeah. Kelce, he's got to be done after this year. He's talking like he's going to keep playing, but there's just no chance. He's 34. I feel like he is going to have this year. He's going to get smoked by Derwin James a couple more times.
Talking about Kelce!
And he's going to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to sail off into the sunset with Taylor Swift and call it a career. And this is going to be his last year, is my prediction. So if you want him this year, if you're trying to contend, maybe he'll reach tight end 12. He was not good last year. I don't know if you guys remember. He was not good. So he could be tight end 12 for one more year. Big if. He's just not who he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So that's why he's in D tier. With Isaiah Likely, who should be higher, man. But like I said, the Ravens just love Mark Andrews. And if Mark Andrews is still there, then Isaiah Likely cannot jump up any higher. He's young. He's talented. He's not a great blocker, but man, does he get fantasy points. And he's quick. He's fast. He would be a great prospect. I'd even put him up probably in B tier if I knew that Mark Andrews was retiring or Mark Andrews wasn't there. But when Mark Andrews has 55 receptions and 675 yards on 11 touchdowns, that's a lot of production that isn't going Likely's way. So you can't really move him up too much, which sucks because he's a great player. Holy cow. I forgot TJ Hawkinson. We're going to throw him up here. Again, my bad on that one, but B tier. Older, coming off an ACL last year. He had a couple weeks last year at the end of the season where he was kind of that guy. J.J. McCarthy all offseason working with him. Another offseason to fully recover. I don't see why he can't be a great tight end asset for another couple of years. So we're going to keep him up there. And yeah, I still think he's a great tight end, and I don't see him falling off this year. I think he showed us last year at the end of the season that he's still capable and can still be a tight end 1, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do this year. But again, he's older. Not sure how old, but he's older, and that's always concerning, and injury risk. So there's risk with him, but he's still a great player. Okay, we're going to tear down again. Terrence Ferguson. Now, pre-rookie draft for me, I knew this guy went to Oregon, wasn't really familiar with him. I looked into him, looked into the landing spot in the Rams, and man, he's been skyrocketing up my board. Listen to this. 6'5", 256, ran a 4.63. The kid is a mammoth on wheels. And he goes to a place with Colby Parkinson and Tyler Higbee with Frat Stafford throwing the ball. This guy is going to earn a spot on that field. And I think he's going to be pretty dominant this year. And if not this year, next. Because those other tight ends there are old as dirt. And he's the new young stud. And Sean McVay is a great drafter. I don't think he'd pick a tight end for no good reason. I think he thinks he got a steal. And yeah, I mean, the Oregon product he's going to be a dog. So, 6'5", 256, 4'6". Enough said. Next, Jonnu Smith. Somebody I don't love as much as Terrence Ferguson, who I could not believe what happened with him last year in the Dolphins and him taking all Tyreek's production and Waddle's production and all the touchdowns in every single game. I mean, somebody traded me, I think, a first or second round pick in Dynasty to make a run with Jonnu Smith. I was like, yep, you can have him. Jonnu Smith gave me a first-round draft pick, I think. Maybe second. But either way, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I just don't think he can do it again. I could be wrong, but I'll take my chances betting against him than with him. I think he's like 30. And if you think back to who Jonnu Smith was before last year, he was a nobody. So it's not somebody I'm trying to acquire. If I have him, I'm hoping maybe, but I think a lot of people have the same opinion I do. So can you get rid of him? Probably not for what I think his value on the field this year could be outweighing what you can get for him in picks, depending on maybe, during the season he starts producing again. Then you could trade him again. Be like, here, if I'm not contending, I'm going to trade him to a contender for some picks. If you are contending, then I'm just keeping him. I'd love to have him. But it's all a big if, because everybody's like, no way he can do that again. So if he shows it again this season, then he has more value. So if you got him right now, I'd hold him, but I just really don't see his value in the future to be anything higher than E tier. After him is Kyle Pitts. I feel like Kyle Pitts sucks. Actually, I don't feel like it. I know it. We've seen it year in and year out, and everybody falls for the bait. Oh, I should just take him. Just one more year. Just one more year. Don't do it. Don't do it. I will say this. Penix, I believe in fully. I think he's very accurate. I think he's a very good quarterback. And a whole offseason with Penix. Could we see something from Pitts? Maybe. Is it something I'm betting on? Absolutely not. I'd rather see someone else, hey, if someone else wants to take that risk, so be it. But it ain't going to be me. I'm sick of that kid. I'm sick of being burned by him. And I think everybody is. And I think everybody would agree that maybe he is good with Penix this year. But we don't care. We don't care one bit if he's good or not. Because he sucks. Mason Taylor out of LSU went to the New York Jets. And I'm going to be honest, I think he's big, fat, and slow. And the only reason he's ranked so high is he went to the Jets. They just traded away Conklin. Man, maybe Conklin's in LA. That's where he might be. I'm not positive. But he's not at New York where Mason is. And the only reason that we could see him being, valuable this year and the next couple of years is just because of opportunity. Like, who else do they have at tight end? I have no idea. So he's like the guy there, I think, which gives him value. And maybe I'm wrong on him as a prospect, but I don't think so, man. So we'll see with him. Opportunity is definitely a big part of fantasy production, and he has that in front of him. We'll see if he seizes the moment and captures it and becomes something, but I wouldn't bet on him if he didn't have opportunity, and I wouldn't bet on him, period. So the only reason I could see you taking a shot at him is because no one else is in New York. Patrick Freiermuth, another old guy who's probably seen his best days. He had the best quarterbacks he's going to have for a while last year, and I don't remember a single thing about Freiermuth. I think maybe he was hurt, so he's an E tier. And to wrap things up in F tier, we're going to go Arroyo. That's Fannin. Arroyo. Come on, man. Jake Ferg. K. Dotton. Harold Fannin. And Brenton Strange. And that is going to wrap up the tiers. Harold Fannin, I think, is a great fit in Seattle. Arroyo, or however you say it, the guy from Miami. Great fit in Seattle. And I like Fannin more as a prospect, but landing spot wise, Fannin is behind Njoku, who's 28, and personally I think Njoku doesn't have too much longer left in the league, but Arroyo just has less competition, way less. So when you have a certified dog and Njoku ahead of you, it's kind of hard to put Fannin above anybody in the F tier. But a lot of potential from Fannin, a lot of potential from Arroyo, and Arroyo has, the better situation. K. Dotton and Ferguson, so many mouths in Tampa, and I could honestly do this just because of that. I'm going to flip them. K. Dotton had some weeks last year. He was definitely a usable tight end, especially with the, like I've said, the classes or the assets in tight end are dog water. So if you can find somebody to give you value for a week or two or whatever, someone goes down in your lineup, you can stick some guy in, maybe he can get you 10 points in a week or something. Maybe. That's what Cade is, and that's what Jake Ferguson is. I mean, last year Jake Ferguson, 59 receptions, 495 yards, 0 touchdowns. I think he was hurt for a lot of the year, but 0 touchdowns. I mean, he's 26, so I mean, Ferguson, I could be totally wrong on. He could jump up a couple tiers, especially with Pickens there, taking some more of the coverage away from him. And I know Dak does like him, but he's injury prone, and I mean, I don't know. I just don't think he's going to be somebody that we remember from this year, but I could be wrong. And Brenton Strange, he was okay a couple games last year, and that's all he's going to be. He's better than a lot of these guys that go behind him just because of opportunity. He's a starting tight end on a Jaguars offense, so I really do believe in, and people write off Trevor Lawrence. I've spoken on him before. Just give him one more chance. New OC, Liam Cohen, dogs around him, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter. Brenton Strange could be like Cade Otton last year. He'll have, some pop weeks where he's definitely going to be a usable fantasy asset, but to say that he is, anything better than the 24th best tight end is a stretch by any means. So, yeah, we're going to put him at 24 and F tier, and that is going to wrap up this video. I feel like I knocked that out way quicker this time, so that is a blessing. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching again. I think I'm going to run into maybe like full Dynasty startup draft order, like 1 through 50 or something, maybe next. Let me know if you're watching this video, if you want to comment, if you have any ideas, or if you have thoughts of like that you want me to let me know if you have any ideas for videos or anything you want to hear. I'll definitely be sure to probably throw it in the video because you're going to be like the only guy commenting, so I appreciate you. And yeah, again, thank you for tuning into the franchise, and we'll see you next time.